Howdy. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about cyber insurance because you hear a lot about this. Your typical insurance providers are Beazley and Lloyd's of London. Those are the two I've run into. Now, remember in the beginning we talked about risk. You can avoid it, you can accept it, you can mitigate it, or you can transfer it. We all carry car insurance, home insurance. In many cases, even if we do something negligent, our insurance will cover us. So for instance, if I run a stop sign, I may get a ticket, I hit something, I cause a crash, it's my fault. My car insurance will typically still pay. In some cases, like if I set my house on fire and they prove it's arson, insurance will not pay. So there's always cases where insurance will pay when you're wrong. Negligence is not considered intentional. Arson is, it's a crime. Well, how this relates to cyber insurance is that many of the policies today carry terms and conditions that the insured party must do everything they can to protect and detect malware that could lead to a data breach. So there have been most examples, I shouldn't say most, but many examples don't pay. In the first Sony breach, which was a PlayStation breach several years ago, their insurance companies generally refused to pay and won in court. Now, to give you an idea, that was about $100 million. They did make some payments for breach notification. Sony appealed, and while they were waiting the appeal, they reached an out-of-court settlement, which anytime you reach something that is not in court, typically the lawyers will put in a confidentiality clause. So neither party can discuss what settlement was reached. I'm sure from Zurich General's side, they said, look, it's going to cost us all this money for legal fees. What's the risk that it gets turned over on appeal? Let's go on and pay them less than what that would cost. And Sony's thinking the same thing. I'm going to take what I can get because I don't know if I'm going to prevail in court. So what I did when I was at the University of Houston is I took a project and I contacted an insurance company, and I got 24 requirements for one of their insurance companies on the restriction that this only be used for educational purposes. So you'll also see in this file folder for this module a Word document, which I will explain. The Word document down one column listed the 24 requirements. Now, this is not a complete analysis. The situation for that course was a little different. It wasn't engineering students, it was College of Technology students, it was graduate students, it was a small group. We met for 3 hours at a time. Sometimes it went to 4 hours. But we took the 24 insurance requirements and we broke into teams, and over a period of a couple of weeks, we tried to map them into the NIST controls. And like I said, it's not complete, but we discovered that complying with this would be so labor intensive, and anyone going through and reading this from the C-level would not really have the extensive knowledge to answer this. They would probably think a lot of those are being finished and being done, but they would be wrong. Requirement number 12 was also impossible. The fact that you had to ensure that third-party vendors had security as good as your own. Not an objective standard, but a subjective standard. So I want you to take some time and look through that. And again, left column is the insurance requirements. The next column, we mapped it into NIST controls. We put the artifacts, what documents we would have to produce, and the like. Now, here's some typical insurance questions. What do I do if I enforce, how do I enforce a company policy governing security, privacy, the acceptable use of company property that must be followed by anyone who accesses your network or sensitive information? Let's look at this technically. Company policy, and I'm going to enforce it, that covers security, that's an issue. Privacy, that is an issue and a separate issue. You have to be secure to have privacy, correct? But your security is much more than just privacy sometimes, right? Privacy is like a subset. So we've got two big issues here. I'm going to force a company policy for security and for privacy. That comes under different laws. Security would be FISMA and the like. Privacy could be HIPAA, FERPA. and acceptable use of company property that must be followed by anyone who accesses your network or sensitive information. And that's just one of the 24 requirements. So again, the first column is the question or the requirement. The second is the NIST controls. The third, the required artifacts. And the fourth, an indication if the control could be automated. Again, this is incomplete. You know, I am not going to assign you and say finish it. It would take you more hours than you've got to put on this. I am wanting you to leverage this work and learn from it. So here's how it worked. Do you enforce a company policy? That's the one I just read. We put it, you must have AC1 and least privilege. You must have incident response, media protection. Always, if you're going to have any sub-controls 2 on, you need the number 1. And you can see, but finally we just started listing them. The artifacts was a risk assessment report. You can find this on FedRAMP. System security plan, again, the templates on FedRAMP. An incident response plan, and the POAM. And then, could it be automated is the last question. Well, an acceptable use policy, sometimes called, terms of service. There's other names for it. You could do an online document with electronic signature. And then the policy and procedure documents, every 1 to 3 years, you're going to have to put in for each of the controls. And by the way, that says 1 and 3 years. I believe the new NIST standards have gone to 1 and 1. So a lot of documentation and but some opportunities for automation. Let's look at the next one. The question was, do you prominently disclose your policy and always honor it? Well, what exactly does that mean? Does your company prominently disclose your security policy and always honor it? These are questions I put there. Disclose to whom? Employees, customers, the public, third-party vendors, and all policies that would develop would fall under this, your policy. So we began to look at some of the NIST controls there and some of the artifacts. So for instance, if you want to have a policy for your employees, you're going to have to put that in either an employee handbook or employee practices or something. If it's customers, you're going to do it online and in the mail. If it's public, online. Now let's go back to the point of this lecture is how do you get cyber insurance? But better yet, how do you put those practices in place that's going to ensure that if there is a breach, you can collect on the policy? Another one, do you implement virus controls and filtering on all systems? Well, first question is, what is filtering? I don't think that's a cybersecurity term I'm familiar with. So this next one is just a question I put. Filtering, we're going to assume it's going to include firewalls and intrusion protection systems or intrusion detection systems. Again, a list of controls we put in. Then we said, okay, we can put security policy filters and configuration for the content. We can do an instant log of virus removal. And you automate this by having automated virus detection and a tracking log. And with that tracking log, you automate the analysis of that tracking log. That's my lecture on insurance. But let's go back. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take the Word document and look through this and make sure you know where each of this is coming from. Okay? Here's a hint. There's going to be a question on your final related to that document. Thank you.